It's that time of the week. It is time for Friday Feedback, where we feature messages, comments, replies, smoke signals, telegrams, and snail mail delivered to us by our audience. The best place to write to is info@davidpakman.com, but YouTube comments, TikTok replies, etc. will often be featured. We start today with one of these classic incoherent messages, just a little palate cleanser, or whatever the opposite of a palate cleanser is. Jim wrote in. I don't even know what this guy's talking about. Jim says, I think the total of insults towards Trump outnumbers and outweigh any amount of Trump insults of this disabled man. Hitler, racist, fat, narcissist, Russian asset. Let's see you, so brave, so principled Pakman, withstand the slings and arrows of all you libtards talking heads, or from anyone when directed to you. You would wilt like a little whiny girl. Have a nice day. I don't know. I don't know. I think Trump, it's funny. When Jim refers to Trump insulting a disabled man, Trump has insulted so many people with disabilities that I don't know who Jim is referring to. And part of me wonders whether Jim is arguing that Biden is the disabled guy that Trump is insulting. Complete and total incoherence. But here's what I really want people to think about. Close your eyes and imagine Jim putting down his phone after sending me this message. I'm going to do it too. Jim puts down his phone after sending me this message. And then he turns around and he gets back to his desk and he picks up the phone and he says, Jim's accounting services. How can I help you? Imagine that Jim is your CPA or your kid's middle school teacher or whatever. The point here is, these people are in our society. They, at least theoretically, might be providing you some kind of service, or your kids, if you can imagine. That's extraordinarily terrifying. And also many of them vote, which is just a reminder as to why we need to vote in November as well. Ryan DeGrave commented on YouTube, Tim Midwest Giga Chad Walz is an excellent choice and the right choice. He's great on TV. He appeals to basically everyone who's not a psychopath. He's literate and well-spoken, yet sounds like a normal person, is relatable, and gives those of us interested in a better future hope that the party might finally be leaning to the left again instead of pandering to the right. I agree completely with Ryan about many of the great reasons why Tim Walz is a fantastic choice. But with regard to the leaning left versus right, there are some people angry a little bit with some of the polling we've been doing. We did another poll on the YouTube channel. 160,000 of you voted. The question was, Kamala Harris recently said she would appoint a Republican to her cabinet if elected. Do you agree she should? 74% of my audience said yes. Kamala should appoint a Republican to her cabinet. Only 26% of you said no. The subreddits and the Twitter trolls love taking screenshots of these polls and saying, look at how Pakman, or Parkman as they usually misspell it, look at how Pakman's audience is so right-wing. 74% of them want a Republican in Harris's cabinet. Can you imagine? And I just want to remind everybody that my audience is to my left. What you are seeing reflected in these polls is a practical understanding of how politics works. And I see nothing wrong with Kamala Harris selecting nominally a Republican, a moderate Republican, to a position that is of less consequence. I don't want to rank cabinet members, okay? It's not about you're better or worse, but I'm just saying not every cabinet position is as prominent, right? I don't see anything wrong with putting a Republican with whom you're basically roughly on the same page with regard to the specific siloed area they would be working on, to show I'm bipartisan. I can work with Republicans. There are reasonable Republicans. It's not just we hate all of these people. I think there is a lot of political value in that. And that's what my audience is recognizing. It's not, oh, David, your audience is so right wing. This is strategy. This is a pragmatic approach to politics. Okay. Sherry Sanchez wrote, I'll vote for the pair that are rooting for the success of this country, not the pair actively rooting for us to fail for their benefit. Tough to sum up the contrast between Harris Walz and Trump Vance better than that. You tune in to a Trump or Vance rally, and it's this country has gone to hell, 1929 style crash if Kamala Harris wins. It's communism. It's Marxism. The gender affirming surgeons have taken over our schools, and now kids are getting trans surgery in school, is the way Trump put it. It's all terrible. The country used to be great. It's no longer great. Here's all the things I'm going to do. And it's going to be a bloody removal of undocumented immigrants. And wow, that's like a really scary vision. Even if Trump gets to do the things he wants to do, it sounds terrible. On the other hand, Harris Walz says, hey, you know what? We have political differences, but there are things we can all agree upon. We have some basic institutions and a framework of democracy that we must defend. And we can disagree about the top tax rate. We can disagree about to what degree should states determine completely what the educational programs in public schools should be. Or right, we can have disagreements, but we have a shared vision that maintains the country as a democratic country with the parameters and guardrails that were meant to be in place based on how the Constitution and Bill of Rights were set up. And here's 10 ideas about how to make things better. We're going to make things better for those who have children but struggle to pay. We're going to make things better for those who are looking for factory jobs. We're going to make things better for those who have an idea that they want to do, but they don't want to lose health care at the job that they hate. Okay. It couldn't be a more different vision. And Sherry really accurately outlines that. Now, completely different scenario. Jay Scorpion says, ass ho, vote Trump. Okay. So yeah, that's a different vision. That's a different vision of what to do. Greg Black wrote in on Facebook and says, Pack Punk, do you believe your own bullshit? I sure hope so, because nobody, K-N-O-W space body, K-N-O-W space body, nobody else does. She needs to win Pennsylvania, and it's tied right now, and she got no bump after the DNC. Well, listen, insults aside, it is true that Pennsylvania is tied right now. As I've said, it's going to be close. I don't know how Pennsylvania being tied contradicts anything I've said. It is not true that Kamala Harris got no bump from the DNC. She got about 0.6 of a point, but Trump seems to have taken momentum back. That's true also. So the fact that Greg identifies correctly that this is potentially going to be a very close race doesn't really make the non sequitur insults anything that I'm super impressed by. Here's another comment from YouTube. Not running for president, running from prison, relating to Donald Trump. Yeah, there are many who write in and say, David, what Trump is doing is very transparent. He sees becoming president as the best way to stay out of prison, especially now with his sentencing delayed until after the election. And I don't disagree with you. The only part that raises a little bit of a red flag for me is if Trump really sees becoming president as the way to stay out of prison, you'd think he'd be campaigning a little more strongly. He wouldn't be doing just one rally a week or less if he saw that the way to maintain his freedom was to become president of the United States. That's the one part of it that sounds a little bit strange to me. Okay, here's a very interesting comment from YouTube. I'm a gun owner. I love my guns. I love the Second Amendment, but I don't love Trump. The future of this country is much more important to me, which is why I'm voting for Harris 2024. We're not going back. I think he means we're not going back. Yeah, listen, I have friends who are very moderate. Yeah, they do mostly vote for Democrats nationally, but often vote for Republicans at the state level. And they own guns. They are socially on the left-ish, but not extremely so. They have concerns about a lot of the cultural stuff, but they are saying to me the same thing. They are saying, we have a Second Amendment. Kamala Harris isn't going to take my guns. She's not trying to. And this is about more than what you sometimes see made the issues on social media. And a very practical question is, okay, if there's a bunch of these folks in Tennessee, well, Kamala Harris is not going to win Tennessee. But if there's enough of these folks in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, the election could very well hinge on it. So we're all going to be paying very close attention to those sorts of folks. Finally, we did a poll. Did Joe Biden do the right thing by getting out of this race? 217,000 of you voted. 55% wanted Biden to drop out and are glad that he did. 41% didn't want Biden to drop out, but now are glad that he did. 96% of my audience, we never see such a united front on anything. 96% of my audience believes that it was the right decision for Joe Biden to drop out. That's very optimistic when it comes to, can we believe in the newfound energy behind Kamala Harris, or is it just window dressing? The fact that 96% of the audience is saying, oh, no. Whether I thought so or not at the start, I have come to believe it was right for Biden to drop out. That bodes very well for people actually getting out to vote for Kamala Harris, hopefully in the states that are going to make a difference. All right, we've got a fantastic program on the bonus show for you. Make sure you are signed up at joinpakman.com. Please remember to pre-order my forthcoming nonfiction book, The Echo Machine. I will have updated order numbers for you on Monday. You can order the book at davidpakman.com/echo, Amazon, bookshop.org, Barnes & Noble. It is now available for pre-order. It should be at every local bookstore. If you live next to, Sam's Books in Milwaukee or Samantha's Books in Austin, Texas, those are made up. You should now be able to call up any bookstore and say, I want to order David Pakman's The Echo Machine from Beacon Press, and they should be able to get it for you for the release date, and you will qualify for the signed book plate. So get those orders in. I'll update you on numbers next Monday. Enjoy the bonus show. Have a good weekend.